Hi there, I'm Dave Wilton from Giant Group, and welcome to the second episode in the latest of our industry podcasts. Today, I will be talking you through the Managed Service Legislation, or MSC for short. This will be of interest to anyone working in the contract or interim market, engaging with limited company workers, commonly associated with roles outside of IR35. Now, joining me on late notice is Key Account Director and Industry Expert Hayley.
Hi Dave, thanks for inviting me. So the MSC legislation was introduced coming up to 16 years ago now in April 2007. As you know, the legislation was a response by the government to what they felt was considerable tax avoidance by providers of composite companies.
Yeah, it's worth noting probably what a composite company is. So a composite company would commonly be one limited company that contractors would then be independently providing their services to. They may also be shareholders of that company, but they're not necessarily running the business. Again, it's probably worth us outlining a little bit more of the history behind the legislation as it was coming into play.
Yeah, so prior to 2007, there were several providers offering complete off-the-shelf solutions to contractors for a monthly fee. To the HMRC, this felt as though the contractor was not running the company. HMRC viewed this as a contradictory, as if the contractor is not fully running the company. And this is in the hands of the composite company. They should then not be eligible to have the tax benefits associated with this. So it meant that earnings should be taxed as that of an employee.
Yeah, well said. So like IR35, which was the previous video in the series by Giant, there certainly is a financial risk associated, which can be passed along the supply chain to recoup any monies owed to HMRC. The debt, as you know, can be moved from the contractor or company director to the MPCP in the event the debt not being paid, and even further along to the agencies involved in the process. So definitely something worth considering to our agency clients. Again, like IR35, this remains a hot topic of conversation, with many of my clients still unsure or aware of the implications. Probably good again to outline the reasons why contractors were previously so keen to proceed in this way.
Well, David, back in the early 2000s, there were greater advantages in pay for a contract worker over that of an employee. Now into 2023, the gap has closed somewhat, with the main difference being the employer's national insurance, which would need to be paid by the contractor if they were found to be caught by the MSC rules.
Yeah, until recently, Hayley, aside from the Costello case in 2019, there wasn't really much noise around the legislation, with it commonly thought that the measures coming into play in 2007 had altered the way in which accountancy companies engage with contractors' limited companies. Interestingly, HMRC only took 5 workers from CBS to tribunal, as the ruling could later then be applied to all additional clients, successfully recouping millions in unpaid taxes.
It is worth pointing out that this was a case with exceptional circumstances involving excessive involvement in the company's finances, from holding and paying taxes on behalf of the client. They even earn interest on the company taxes held. This also extended to control of bank accounts, which contractors didn't have access to. This is why this is now such of an interest in the contract world.
Yeah, well, HMRC only have 4 years from the end of the given tax year to recoup any unpaid taxes. As a result, this batch of determination letters have been issued to protect revenues going back to the 2017-18 tax year. A couple of key points which would suggest a contractor's limited company is being controlled by an MSCP. So it's good to note these points. These could be actions such as controlling influence, whereby a shareholder owns more than 50% of the company shares. Having automated processes, meaning the contractor has little or no involvement in the day-to-day running of the company. Also is the standardized director's pay across all clients.
Although this is possibly more of a shock than a surprise to contractors, many will continue to contest that they are working with an MSCP and that they are engaged with an accountancy service in an advisory role only. This will no doubt come as a concern to those directly affected and to the wider contractor community. So from speaking to clients and looking on contractor forums, many contractors are still unsure of the legislation and they feel they have done nothing wrong in using the accountancy company.
Yeah, as the cases will likely be going before the courts and heard by a judge, it's probably going to take a little time before we fully understand the extent and see the outcome. We will, of course, keep you updated on this and any other MSE cases that come to our attention. Please also subscribe to our YouTube page for future videos and content. Thank you, Hayley.
Thanks, Dave.